On that note, I am so pleased to introduce now our first speaker, WDO Board Member from Italy, Pier Paolo Peruccio. Pier is a full professor at Politecnico di Torino, currently working on research in the field of systemic design. He is also a design historian, which makes this the perfect place to kick off our program. Let's hear from Pier.
Good morning and good afternoon. Happy World Industrial Design Day to all. My contribution basically regards the history of our organization. As you know, this year we are celebrating the 65th anniversary of World Design Organization. Who we are, when we started to promote the profession of the designer, when we develop a systemic thinking to address the issue of sustainability, when we provided the first definition of design, several questions. Of course, I cannot answer to all of them. I just will try to give a picture of the organization using the lens of the historian with a specific focus on three main items. The first one is the root of World Design Organization. The second one is the political role of the organization in the 50s and in the 60s. The third one is the debate on sustainability, when the organization started to address this topic. First of all, I have to say that there is an archive in the United Kingdom at the University of Brighton, where we all have the chance to study the original documents on ICSID/WDO. So far, there are few vertical researches on this topic, excellent works, but very, very few. I think there is a great potential for developing new researches on design association with a particular focus on our organization. Well, the history of World Design Organization covers 20 years of this century and half of the last one, a period during which the professional status of the designer grew at international level. After World War II, there was a strong need to internationalize, let's say, the knowledge, also as a reaction to nationalism, and also to move from a silo thinking to a more integrated one. One of the main international design schools was the Hochschule für Gestaltung in Ulm, Germany, founded in 1953. I'm sure that you know very well it, with professors and students from all around the world. The school played an important role on design methodologies for controlling the complexity of the project. And some of the professors of the school, such as Guy Bonsipe or Tomás Maldonado, were also members of the executive board at the end of the 60s. Also, the international conference held in Aspen, Colorado, United States from 1951 until 2004 played an important role to promote the design profession. We can say that most of the design associations were established in the 50s and in the 60s. The Design Council was the only one founded in 1944. ICSID was officially established in 1957, ICOGRADA, the International Graphic Design Association, in 1963. Let's move to Italy. ADI, the Italian Design Association, in 1956. The Spanish ADI-FAD in 1960. The Soviet Design Research Institute, called VINITE, acronym that stands for All Union Scientific Research Institute of Industrial Design, was established just in 1962. The Indian National Institute of Design, 1961. The French Centre de Création Industrielle, 1969. The German Office for Industrial Design, AIF, 1972, just to mention a few. At the time, so the 50s and the 60s, structure became a totem word. A design organization shows a specific structure. There is a steering committee, there is a president, and everything is regulated by precise policies. Structuralism, that means Lévi-Strauss, Foucault, de Saussure, affected the need of structured body to foster the culture and the profession of designer. WDO, when it was established in 1957, played a role also to build a bridge between the so-called first world countries and those in the so-called periphery, or developing countries, the third world, the global south, and other terms to describe it. But now there is no time, unfortunately, to talk about the very terminology. WDO, but we can say even just design, was a key player also in the Cold War diplomacy. I just want to mention the kitchen debate. That is likely the best known example of an occasion in which design had played a political role. So not specifically ICSID. If you check on the web, you will see some pictures, some images about the kitchen debate. It happened in 1959 at the American National Exhibition in Moscow, and there was Khrushchev on one side, the leader of Soviet Union, and on the other side, Nixon, the Vice President of the United States. The goal was, of course, to make them talk, but it led to a clash of ideologies. The American kitchen was the metaphor of the American dream. Washing machines, new appliances, let's say that these objects were a kind of response to the Soviets in the space race. Here I think we have to mention also the ICSID intern design workshops. These are part of an amazing program starting in 1971. In total, 38 workshops so far. The topic of the 2 weeks of the first workshop, held in May and June 1971 in Minsk, Soviet Union at the time, was the production and distribution of bread. And the workshop was a success. It showed how it was possible to overcome all political and even linguistic issues. In 1963, ICSID was granted specific or special consultative status with UNESCO. From that year, so from 1963, ICSID worked on many developmental projects using design for fostering a better quality of human condition. By the 70s, the organization enhanced the promotion of industrial design in developing countries. I just want to mention the Ahmedabad Declaration in 1979, signed in the city of Ahmedabad in India by the Indian National Institute of Design, NID, the UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, which is, as we know very well, international agency, and ICSID. Design could be a powerful force for improvement, the quality of life in developing world. Local answers to local needs using, let's say, local skills, traditions, and materials of that specific territory. WDO has contributed to theoretically grounded discipline, starting from its definition. The first one was adopted in 1959. It happened during the first ICSID Congress and General Assembly held in Stockholm, Sweden. I just want to quote it, and you can easily read on the web. An industrial designer is one who is qualified by training, technical knowledge, experience, and visual sensibility to determine the materials, mechanism, shape, color, surface finishes, and decoration of objects which are reproduced in quantity by industrial processes. The industrial designer may, at different times, be concerned with all or only some of these aspects of an industrially produced object. Of course, the definition is quite long, so I just want to skip it and I want to move to another one, because we all mentioned the university, the one by Tomás Maldonado at the end of the 60s. And there was also another one that we can easily again read on the website. It was delivered on 29th General Assembly in Gwangju, South Korea, when the Professional Practice Committee unveiled, let's say, a renewed definition of industrial design as follows. Industrial design is a strategic problem-solving process that drives innovation, builds business success, and leads to a better quality of life through innovative products, systems, services, and experiences. So we see that this definition is larger. We have also experiences. We have also systems. To conclude, even ICSID congresses and general assemblies were the main places that already in the 60s marked some fundamental moments in the cultural debate on design and environment. We can notice the circularities of some cultural elite. There are some leading figures such as Guy Bonsipe and Tommaso Maldonado already mentioned. There was a transversality of disciplinary contribution that can embrace economics, cybernetics, graphic design, behavioral design, biology, design, and so on. I just want to highlight the speakers of the Congress entitled Design, Society and the Future in London, 1969. There were several speakers, among them Kenneth Boulding, an American economist, Bernard Cates, Silvio Ceccato, an Italian philosopher and also a cybernetics expert, Gillo Dorfles is very well known, he's Italian art and design critic, Arthur Earle, Vishani, the son-in-law of the foreign minister of Soviet Union, Arnold Gramish, Hasan Özbekan, a Turkish-American cyberneticist. He was in, maybe you heard that he was in connection with also Aurelio Peccei and everything connecting the publication of the book The Limits to Growth. There was also in the conference Donald Schoen, very well known for technology and change, and other people. The conference focused on future studies, a very popular in the second half of the 20th century topic, and also very popular in the United States, in France, Germany, of course UK as we said, and Italy. These studies originate mainly from military and strategic research, focusing on gathering early information about the development and dissemination of a technology in a specific social context or military environment. ICSID/WDO has over the decades crossed the main topics of international design debate. Design education, first of all, the setting of standards for design profession, the topic of how to move forward an Eurocentric narrative. Design as a link between countries, which is a very relevant issue today. Design for peace. Another important topic is the environmental issue. WDO has often anticipated some of the key or topics of the debate. I gave the examples of the theme of cybernetics, future studies related to design, the topics that were taken up in 1972 also for the publication of the report, The Limits to Growth. As anticipated earlier, WDO can be, for young academics, a very original space for research. We, as part of the WDO board, are happy to help you to define a useful and cutting-edge topic for your research. Again, happy good Industrial Design Day to all. Ciao!
And happy World Industrial Design Day to you as well, Pierre. Unfortunately, my colleague Natalie, we have bidded you to her. She will be joining us in a few short hours. I have taken over the moderation for the next couple of hours of our program. Thank you, Pierre, for that insightful look into WDO's past.